Perhaps there is no such thing as coincidence. Maybe there's an underlying weave, a pattern that undergirds our lives towards our respective destinies, our fate. Every once in a while we catch a glimpse of it, startled and mystified by the view. Years ago, for example, I opened a dictionary randomly to search a particular word and was stunned to see that I was staring at it. I don't remember what the word was, but I remember the shock I had at its immediate presence in front of my face, as if it had its own will in wanting to be found. Another case, when I worked as a librarian on a book bill, one day a man, Larry, walked in and donated one book entitled Being Mortal to the library and handed it to me. I was stunned. The book bill didn't own a copy. There are millions of books in existence, and 2 days earlier, a woman in another town, Eve, had requested that exact same volume. These people didn't know each other and had no contact. More recently, I was walking in a cemetery at Grand Canyon National Park, feeling a bit melancholy about the human condition, reading the data of people's lives on passing gravestones. I had never been in this cemetery in my life. I knew nothing about it. At length, I remarked to my companion with a sigh that life is short. And as I spoke those words, I turned my head and was staring at this, someone's tombstone with the last name of Short. An old friend of mine has a very good story in this odd regard, something he experienced about nature and love, and how the two are somehow deeply entwined, another astonishing expression of a strange magic at root in the world.
Yeah, that's the story of the wedding band and the asparagus. I had lost my ring. I tore apart the house, tore apart the car. Normally I wouldn't do that, for anything, including even, I was opposed. I was actually opposed to a wedding band. I thought, I don't wear that kind of shit. I don't need that kind of symbolism to represent the kind of feeling that I have for this particular person. I mean, why is it so important to everybody? And, I never wore one my whole life. I never wore wristwatches or necklaces or earrings through the nose or whatever. And, but when this woman gave me this wedding band and had taken the time to take it down to a jeweler, and on the inside had engraved, I have to actually read it to you. All my love. Look at that. As soon as I said that, the canoe stopped. I mean, it's like we hit a log. I mean, so anyway, what it says is, all my love, Mary Rose. And so when I lost it, it was like suddenly something that I'd, for 37 years, never gave a rip about having, or even if I had lost it, it was like, see, I told you. That's why I didn't want it in the first place, because I knew I was going to dump it somewhere. And, it was like I felt bad about it. It wasn't that I felt bad about it because that it was something important to her, but it became something important to me at that point. And so I felt bad about it. I tore the house apart. I tore the car apart. I kept imagining places that I had lost it. And, but, back in the back of my mind, I kind of had the notion that it'll show up someday, So, the following spring, man, I was out weeding the garden. Weeding the garden patch, and lo and behold, an asparagus shoot had popped out of the ground. And the ring was around the asparagus shoot. This is an unbelievable story, but it's true. And I flip the ring off the asparagus shoot back onto my own finger. Do you believe that, Stan? You know, it's magic. It's that there's magic somehow. There's some sort of random mysteriousness, connectedness to certain things.